What's for lunch? TBBLC.
Stay in your seat.
What's for lunch today? Sausage. Brown bag, brown bag.
The Brown Bag Lunch Crew. And back in the saddle again. Brown Bag Lunch Crew coming at you. Dev and Drew up in Gloucester, Massachusetts. How's it going today, boys?
It's going great. Glad to be back. I know we went on a little bit of a hiatus. We started pushing the social media, starting to build that following. I want to thank everybody who's interacted on social media and listened to us. We really appreciate it. We're going to keep on grinding here. How you doing, Dev?
Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm glad to be back on. I've only been on for a few minutes so far, so I'm looking forward to really getting going with you guys.
Awesome. After those couple of recuperation days that Drew was talking about, we got some exciting news later on in the show about a recent acquisition that the company, the Brown Bag Lunch Crew, made today. And then our guest today will be spring breaker, my cousin out of Melrose, Massachusetts, Cal Macdonald. He's coming in with some intramural stories, but we are going to grill him for headed down to Florida during peak coronavirus.
You hate to see it. I'll just say that.
Yeah, not good. And let's get right into it, fellas, for their first segment of the day. It's going to be our favorites out of the brown bag. This is going to be one of our staple segments, hopefully. But, Drew, why don't you lead us off on a story that got us thinking about this topic?
Yeah, so I'll start off by giving you a little taste, a little lick of the topic. We're going to be discussing the differences, likes and dislikes, and your preferences of aluminum cans versus plastic bottles. Everybody's favorite discussion. So it was a mere, I want to say, I would guess 3 to 4 years ago, maybe. We were at Destino's. I know you guys are both very familiar with it. It was, I think, in the summer, a nice hot summer day. Heat was just raining down on us. Eating some chicken fingers, some fries, just some heavy fried food at Destino's. And we all love our summer sodas. We sometimes call Sunkist, especially, the drink of the summer.
Absolutely.
That is not a patented trademark, but we're looking to get to that point at some point for those of you asking. I don't. Anyways, we're stuffing our faces at Destino's, hot summer's day, like I said. And then we start to crack into the liters of Sunkist. And when I tell you, that stuff was like metal in my stomach. Now, we're at a point now, let me just say, we're back at my house. We've already eaten. We've already kind of put some real dents into these Sunkists. And, I go to fire up the old PS4, start playing some games, and Curtis is done with his Sunkist. And I'm probably, I would say, 35-40% done with it. And it's a hot summer day, and when your hands are holding it, it's starting to get it doesn't have that crisp chill to it anymore. So it made it even tougher to really get down. And I love my Sunkist just as much as the next person, and it got us thinking, what do you really prefer at the end of the day on a hot summer's day? Is it an aluminum can or a plastic bottle? I know depending on the restaurant or the store that you go to, you're going to get either, but at least for me, I like a nice freezing cold aluminum can. I want to go in there, grab that can out of the case, and I want my hand to be physically, not in pain, but definitely in shock just of the mere temperature of the metal. So I'm a can guy myself. I think I always will be. I feel like I could slam 25 cans in 5 minutes, no problem. But you put that 1 liter in front of me, and boy, am I going to struggle. So let me hear what you guys think.
Dev?
You're talking it's 40% alcohol or something. It's Sunkist. You mean you couldn't get it down?
It was, like I said, hot summer's day. A liter is not a small amount of Sunkist.
Because it wasn't
in my opinion.
Ice cold.
Yeah, and it's at some point I'm I don't even really want it, but I have to drink it because it's the competition.
It was a challenge. It was a challenge at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good with it depends what it is to me. So if I'm going to Destino's, I know that I'm going right in and I'm taking the plastic bottle of Sunkist. That's what I prefer there. I don't know why. It tastes better out of the plastic bottle to me, especially Sunkist. If I'm having a nice cold Coca-Cola, I'll take that aluminum can all day. But but it tastes different. I know that it does. I have never once thought, oh, this Sunkist is now hard to get down because it's not nearly as cold as when it first started. But I think it depends what the drink is.
Almost defensive. Coming off as defensive about
it wasn't the
whole bottle of
temperature.
Canton.
I don't think for Drew. I think it was the mere volume. His little stomach just could not handle 1
He
liter
said he
of
could put down
Sunkist.
25 of them.
In the can, you just bang. You know what I mean? You just go. But the bottle, it's like it's sitting there in your warm hands on a hot summer's day. It's like lead in your stomach.
But the can's not a Yeti, right? It's not like a Yeti can that's going to keep it colder.
Oh, it keeps it colder. There's no doubt in my mind.
I think it keeps it colder, but I also think it has to do with like mentally. It's just a wee can that you can just slam in a few sips if you're thirsty. Like there have been times where I've went to Destino's and I've my food hasn't got to me yet and I'm already a can deep. And I'm going for my second can mid. Like I got like half my cheesesteak left and I'm already cracking my second can. Like, you know what I mean?
Sir, I don't think we can give you any more Sunkist.
Yeah, they usually cut me off after 3, but like still.
And then if you think about it, there's really a third and fourth option, the glass, which probably supersedes anything if you're going to get a Coca-Cola glass old style.
Definitely.
But then you got the McDonald's Coke in that paper cup that they give you or plastic cup, and it just tastes different. I don't get it. I'm a metal can guy. If I'm going to get a soda, it's going to be right now hot can of the week, I would say, is Dr. Pepper. But once we hit those summer months, like Drew said, drink of the summer, I will drink Sunkist from June all the way to September.
I don't know how you drink Dr. Pepper. That is not.
Dr. Pepper is trash.
I love soda. Like I'm a huge soda fan. I'll drink pretty much anything. I do not like Dr. Pepper at all.
That's
in any type of can. It doesn't.
Do you know
matter.
what it says on their can?
It says. I don't drink it. I don't know what it says.
23 flavors. It's got 23 flavors in there.
I don't need different flavors in there. It's too complicated.
By a mile.
Off the top of your head, can you name 3 of them?
No,
it's 23.
It says 23 flavors. So I trust the marketing brand scheme of Dr. Pepper.
Their marketing has gotten to you.
And you know what? That competition they have every year at those bowl games is fantastic. I mean, the throw it in the big Dr. Pepper where it's just a chest pass.
Have you noticed everyone they throw into those is absolutely putrid too?
Yeah.
You can't watch it almost. It's that bad.
And you can't even, nobody actually throws the ball, which might be a requirement, you would think, but they just chest pass.
They toss it underhand or chest pass.
It's usually very uncomfortable to watch physically for me. Not that I probably wouldn't do exactly what they're doing, but that's besides the point. And just to get back on topic briefly here, I think there's nothing better than I don't know why it comes to my mind, but Cheesecake Factory, I sit down, I've been shopping till I'm dropping a little bit. Yeah. And then I go and sit down at Cheesecake Factory and they give you that glass of Coke and you take that sip and it's like another world just opens up in your body.
Nothing beats the glass.
Hallelujah. Praise God. Hallelujah. Oh my God. There's nothing like it. And I would say that's probably 1A, and then 1B, as you referred to previously, Curt. It just hits differently, as the young kids say, the McDonald's paper cup. It just hits differently.
It does. And I agree with you on the restaurant piece of you walk in, you're always thirsty no matter what time of day you're walking into a restaurant, in the anticipation knowing that you're going to get just an ice cold glass of Coca-Cola. It could be, 3 liters worth of Coca-Cola. Doesn't matter. You would drink 3 to 4 of those every single time.
Yes, absolutely.
No doubt about it.
The glass definitely takes it, but they're not going to bring you an aluminum can, though.
No,
unfortunately. Unless I bring my own.
Beer, you can get the beer in the aluminum can. They have oil cans, they call them, down in Texas at Texas Roadhouse. It was Outback. It was Outback because it was a Foster's oil can. It is a ridiculously sized beer in a ice cold oil can, I guess they call it, but just metal can, and it was fantastic.
Wow.
So,
okay.
With that, we'll move on and go into everybody's got their favorite underwear in the dresser. Let's not act a fool here, but what happens when you get up and you see that favorite pair of underwear or socks or whatever you got to throw on that day versus a bad day when you're getting to the bottom of the barrel? You got to do some laundry. Those underwear might be years of age old, and you got to throw them on.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think, I know we've kind of talked about this a little bit previously, but it can change your entire day, to be honest with you. You hop out of the shower, you get downstairs, you have a full slate of just stuff going on. I don't care if it's a weekday, weekend, doesn't matter what you have going on. You open that drawer. For me, it's my top drawer. You got the socks, the underwear, and you see that favorite pair, that go-to pair, and you're like, you just want to do a quick fist pump and be like, let's go. Because you know it's going to be a good day and you're going to be taken care of by those, those first couple layers, which in my opinion are the most important. Like, and on the opposite end of things, like, you could be having a great day up until that point. You open that drawer and you have the ones that, have the rip in the in the gooch area, or like the pair that is just ripping the circulation off of your thighs.
The
it's
wedgie
like,
factor is just
Yeah.
huge here in the great underwear department, because there's some that'll just ride up on you all day, and you have to sit there all day knowing you had the bad pair.
Yeah, it's all about the mindset that you have, right? I mean, you go in, you find your best pair of underwear, you just know, okay, it's going to be a good day, like you said, and just so much about your day is about your mindset and your confidence, and you can just tell when someone's walking around like they got that, their head's up higher, they got that confidence, and you can definitely tell when they don't have their best pair on either. It's the same effect, so it's all about the mindset that you have,
And I don't know what's
yeah.
stopping me from throwing them in the trash, really, because I have plenty of underwear, but it's just like it's reserves. You just keep them in there for bad
You
situations.
never-
I don't know, like
It's
You
almost
never
like it
ever know.
humbles you, right? The best pair wouldn't have that same effect. It's like living through a New England winter, and then you appreciate the summer more. It's like you have to go through those days where you're like, okay, yeah, it's riding up on me, whatever. You're going through those days, and that makes you appreciate the good ones even more.
that is true.
I think that's spot on.
All right, and with that, we're going to roll right into the guest interview. Cal Macdonald, Melrose, Mass. Cousin Cal. Here we go. Intramural guest of the week. What do you got for us, Cal? And then we'll roast you afterwards for the entire spring break ordeal that you and the sister went on. We'll see.
Yeah, so basically in intramural hockey at Merrimack College up in North Andover, there's typically about 10 teams in a division. Okay, so 1 through 4 are, vying or viable contenders for a title that year.
Okay.
5 through 10, not so much. Okay, 1 and 2 get a bye. 3 plays 10, 4 plays 9. Whatever.
How many games you play in a year?
5, usually 5.
Just 5 games?
Okay.
You have 10 teams in the league, but you just play 5 games?
You play half the teams,
That's wild. And then it goes playoffs.
and then it goes playoffs. Yes,
That's insane.
it's an abbreviated year. Every Sunday we play every Sunday
Okay.
for 5 weeks, and then you go into the playoffs.
Nice.
It's an ice time situation. It's different than basketball and stuff.
Yeah.
But
You guys are the club team.
no, different team.
Oh, what
We
is
had-
this?
You can so the rules at Merrimack are you can only have 3 club guys on an intramural team.
Okay.
You can't juice any teams. They kind of make it even.
Yeah. Do you have any
So-
girls on the team, or is it co-ed?
There are girls.
Okay.
There are girls. We didn't have any, but there. I remember there was a girl goalie. We
Okay.
didn't play her, but
Do you light her
I think
up?
she stood on her head a couple times. I heard.
Oh, all right.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I think she took a team to the semis.
Shut the teams down. Let's go.
That's amazing.
950 GAA, something like that. I don't know,
Okay.
but basically we were the 3 seed playing the 10 seed at
So
like
everybody
11.
gets in.
Everybody gets in. Yes. It's like 11:25 on a Sunday night. Okay.
Oh my God.
Wow.
It's a cold late February night. Everybody's just, filing in there. We get business to do, and then we'll go home, get ready for class in the morning, go to bed.
Yeah.
So, first half goes by. We were up like 5-1, 6-1, something like that. We're blowing the doors off this team. Okay. And we get down to about the last minute of the game. I think it's probably 7-8-1 at this point. and some kid just tries to be a complete hero. We get a D-to-D pass at the point. Kid winds up, tees one up, and just buries this kid's ankle. Snaps it in half. Snaps it in half.
That's a grinder, though. Putting the body on the line at 8-1.
Yeah, it doesn't matter the score. Doesn't matter the time.
On elimination, he doesn't care. He's gonna go.
He's not letting that puck get through.
He's not a very good swordsman or a sticksman.
Yeah,
doesn't use his stick very well.
Are there grinders in intramural though? I mean, then you're at that point like you're kind of a hardo when it's like 8-1. I mean,
absolutely. There's no shoulder pad guys, no elbow pad guys.
Who's winding up 8-1 at the blue line and just releasing an absolute bomb?
I mean,
that's questionable.
I don't know. just wanted a little more glory, I guess, buried in their faces.
Yeah, wanted to go a little bar dizzle.
Right down their throat. Yeah.
All right. Any other intramurals up at Merrimack going on that you were part of?
I played flag football one semester. I wasn't very good. As Curtis knows, I'm pretty slow.
Yeah. Might be the slowest in the family behind Ken's, which is pretty.
Oh, Jesus.
I think if me and Ken's had a 40-yard dash, I think I could edge him.
Oh, I would hope so.
That has to happen.
Have you seen the body lately?
Is that a threat? Is that a challenge?
I haven't. Well, Ken's, if you're out there listening,
don't
you
talk
have a
bad
challenge
about
on the table.
That's a tough. We're in a tough situation now with the acquisition. We can't be talking poorly about our coworkers.
We need a Facebook Live of this Brown Bag Lunch Crew Facebook Live 40-yard dash. I want to see it.
All right, now let's get into the real topic here, Cal. Let's hear what you did for spring break this year. Give me a time frame. I don't know when do you think? What was the dates you went down? March what?
I can pull up the exact dates here on my calendar.
Give me a just a general range.
I flew out March 5th, which was a Thursday, at 3:50 p.m. Okay.
Yeah.
And we were going to Fort Lauderdale.
Gotcha.
And the slander and the dirt that was thrown on my name for me going is just ridiculous.
Well, when did you stay down there till?
I stayed down until the 13th.
Okay.
13th of March. Flew out Friday night.
Okay. So are you saying you were before the big news of like everything shutting down, or?
I think what the day was, it was like maybe Wednesday where they started shutting down like the NHL, the NBA. And
I think it was like March 11th that they started shutting that stuff down.
Okay.
Exactly.
Middle of that week.
And it wasn't like, it was bad, but it wasn't what it is now, or even in the realm, and I think you guys were looking at it 20/20 hindsight. But in reality, it was on the edge at the time.
Yeah, I mean, there's an argument there that it was on the edge. I wouldn't say, there was just no inclination going on that, hey, this might not be too good of an idea. At that point, I'm wondering, were airlines and Airbnbs offering refunds on everything?
No, we never got offered a refund for anything.
All right, well, that sounds a little better on your part, at least.
To his defense, too.
The people who went when there was already refunds being given out in their Airbnb and stuff, and they're still going down to Miami.
Yeah, no excuse.
Or, wherever in Florida. It made absolutely no sense to us, because I know Drew was planning a trip, and he got to cancel that one. Got all his money back, or at least in vouchers, so it can be pushed to the side for later. But it just, I'm glad to hear that you were on the forefront of this and not during what I would describe as a selfish, egotistical move.
I don't think I would call it that. I mean, maybe the week after. I think the week after is where, it really picked up steam.
Yeah.
And
I think it was a tough
there was
look.
people that went then too.
Yeah, that's
a tough
that's
look for
the
your
crowd
last
I
couple
might
days,
have a problem.
if anything.
Yeah.
Like I think the point that you mentioned where you left on the 5th, I think you can still get away with that. I think at that point, even when I was planning on going to Florida, it hadn't really crossed our mind completely that we were not going to be able to go. So I'll give you that. But that second week, as you kind of crept into that weekend of like the 11th, 12th, towards the back end of your trip, is where things got a little bit dicey. So I think that's where that emotion and kind of reactive behavior might have stemmed from us at least, just looking from the outside looking in. So I want to.
But then you got to go through and like try to move up a flight and everything. Like that's an absolute nightmare. I wouldn't want to do that.
Exactly. What are you going to nitpick at 2 days? You know what I mean? We're flying out the 13th. What am I going to change my flight to the 10th? I mean, how big a difference is a day? Drew called me a scumbag, I think.
Oh, that's great.
I think he said it was a scumbag.
I might have. So I want to officially apologize to you. I think I was in a very
all right.
A very
pent up mood.
Just pent up, type of mood. When you get the details, and like I said, you realize that, the 5th, I'll give you the 5th. I'll give you that. I'll give you the dates that you said, and I accept the explanation that you gave us. I appreciate you coming on and defending your honor.
Yeah,
I really do.
Well, thanks
for having me, boys.
The 11th of March is when they shut down all the sports and stuff. I think that coincides with, the shutdown of pretty much everything else.
Yeah.
And restrictions of air travel, refunds, whatnot. But, yeah, you go a week after that, and I got no sympathy for what we said.
I was expecting end of March when the way you guys were talking about it. I was like, oh, he went at the end of the month, but.
I agree. It was
I'll
crazy.
Say, yeah, I didn't know the date. I'm just looking on social media, and Curtis is bringing it up, and he's like, he's just feeding, like pouring gas onto the fire.
You started throwing out Scumbag with no information.
And I'm just like growing like into this like huge flame.
I think it might have been worse than Scumbag. I think it was like.
What's worse than that?
Scum of the earth.
I don't
know.
It was scum of the earth. I think when I said those things, I don't think I was thinking of you specifically. I think I was thinking of the.
I mentioned him specifically.
No, I think I was genuinely thinking of those people on Twitter who were like, yeah, if Corona gets me, it gets me. The people who were like 6 beers deep being interviewed on like Fort Lauderdale Beach Boulevard. Like those people I have no sympathy for.
Do you know some folks who went after you?
Matt Heckman, I know, was the week after.
No.
So Heckman.
That's brutal from Heckman there. We're going to have to rip him apart. Drew, I throw the line out. He's a what?
Oh, no, I'm not going to. Let me just say this. Okay. When you look back, it was a pretty intense allegation that I made. And I already apologized. I did. And when we get the whole picture, it makes it look a little bit better. It's just a really tough look. I'm going to say there's people who don't care, depending on what your opinion is. But at this point, when you look back at it from a day like today, you sort of form a different opinion about somebody else.
Yeah, I agree. And I think I understand because it was first episode jitters. That happens. So I accept your apology.
Drew, 2 minutes. People were saying for 2 minutes he did not get a word in.
And you know what happened once I did start talking? I started coughing and sniffling to the high heavens. Whether that was early stages of
first episode jitters.
Yeah.
I don't know. But here we are.
Absolutely. All right, Cal, thanks for coming on the pod, defending the honor of the family. We're glad to hear you weren't part of the Heckman wave, that's for sure.
Well, thanks for having me, boys. I hope this podcast lasts longer than Mr. Mackenzie Quinn's.
Oh, all right, little chirp. And with some breaking news this week, our biggest news of the week for sure. We got the Beneath the Bar crew, the first original podcast really to come out of Gloucester way back in 2017. They were a little technologically challenged back then. We hope we can provide them with the social media expertise maybe and some iTunes and Spotify viewing and basically just get them off the ground and running because they got the good content. So welcome home, boys, Adam, Kenzie, and Jaybird.
Brown bag. Thanks for having us, boys.
Right. It's good to be here.
I know it was a tough acquisition to make a deal. We've been in weeks discussion here. Adam, what made you turn the tide?
There was a lot of deliberation between my camp. The offer was on the table. We kind of mulled it over. And, I think as we talked about today, it's a pride thing, being the first pod on the island, taking a couple of years off. Once I kind of reevaluated, went through the possibilities, what you guys were doing, I said, you can't let pride get in the way of good business. We thought just where we were at the time, this was an opportunity we just couldn't pass up. You guys have the technology that we lack, so to speak. We're content guys. Took 2 years off, kind of just recalibrated, rest the brain bucket a little bit. And we're excited to dive back in and get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Me and Drew and Dev are excited to have you guys. We'll be featuring you on our page with the Beneath the Bar title, and it'll be your own show. I know that was part of the stigma of not joining us, was maybe there'd be some CEO overhead or anything like that. But we don't have that many good ideas, so we need some.
Does Dev know about the acquisition yet, or is he getting this on the fly?
No. We told him. We discussed it in the text this morning. He is in the loop. I know, Jay Bird, you're going to be the producer over there, so we're going to have to be collaborating a little on the edits and whatnot, unless you are already balls deep in that.
Yeah, producer is pretty high title for me. I mean, I just run the Twitter account. You let these guys go. I just like my name attached to great content, so.
That's good.
We're excited.
Anything you want to tell the viewers here, the audience, about the podcast, what you guys will be discussing? Maybe a teaser on who your first guest will be. Who knows?
You want to take it, boss?
We're usually pretty current events type people. We kind of just go with the flow of the news and everything. I got to tell you, the break in sports is kind of hindering us a little bit on stuff to talk about. But we do have, I got confirmation from 2 high-profile athletes in the city today that they will be our first 2 guests. I don't know who's going to go first, depending. I think we got an idea who's coming first, and I think we can get some stories out of them if they'll tell them to us.
Yeah, and just knowing who it may be, there is a professional athlete in there as well.
He is in fact a professional athlete.
Big if true. Big if true.
Drew, you got anything to add? You've been pretty silent up there.
I've just been kind of letting it unfold. I will say a couple things. I love that chain. I'm very jealous of the chain that Ken's is repping. It looks like kind of a David Ortiz type of chunky, like high roller, type of look to it. Happy to have you guys, part of the team, and excited to see what we can accomplish together as the, I would say, the top podcast on the island right now, regardless of who's entering the game, who's leaving the game. I think we got to just continue to push here and take over.
You got the blinders on, too. You don't even know who's in the game right now, do you?
Oh, we know who's in the game.
We know who's in the game.
And just to kind of piggyback off my partner there in terms of what we're looking to bring to the table, I think if you look at our segment as Beneath the Bar, it's a malleable pod, meaning
big word.
Malleable.
Word of the week.
We can take many different forms. You allude to sports, and sports is obviously, a very big topic in the podcast world. However, I think anybody can get up there and just start talking about sports that we see on TV. We don't necessarily want to be the sports. I can turn on my tube. Everybody and their mother's talking about Tom Brady leaving the pants. We don't want to just be up here regurgitating, some sports takes. Our content is very off the cuff. We don't come in. We're not planning anything. We just, talk about some taboo topics maybe, or just some really outlandish, out there type stuff that, for lack of better terms, puts asses in the seats. And that's what it's about. Like I said, we're not tech guys. That's why we kind of came to you. We're here to put people in the seats, and then hopefully you guys cut it up, make it all cool, music, whatnot. I love what you guys are doing. And I think together we can just boost this brand just to the next level, brick by brick, to quote the great Prez.
I'm ready to run through a wall after hearing that.
And I think your sports podcasts talk about, anybody can talk sports. You look at the Foreplay pod on Barstool. Those guys stink. They know nothing about golf. And I have to listen to them do good interviews every day, and I'm just sitting there like, Riggs just did a video cutting from the freaking sand at Pinehurst to try and get up and down, and he gave himself 9 friggin' shots for 3 up and downs. That's pathetic. That's a bogey every goddamn hole.
The best thing about Twitter is you just click the unfollow button, you don't listen to Foreplay Pod, and you just have a happy life.
I got it, though. I gotta hate. That's what this podcast is based off of, Jason. That's what puts the asses in the seat.
I can't wait till November 7th, 2020. I'm going to be reposting every friggin' Instagram. Happy birthday shout out to me. I'm going to have a story with 25 little caterpillars on it.
Yeah, bro.
One of your guests coming on did that, and I got a bone to pick.
He's had a little bit of a chunk in your life too. He's helped you out a little bit. So
The
that's
mentor.
That hits home a little bit right there.
It does. Well, thanks guys for coming on for the big announcement. The start of a large organization, we hope, and that's about it. So Beneath the Bar, they'll be coming out pretty soon here. We got some mics shipping in. Could take a bit, but we're gonna make do with what we got and get this audio up and running. All right.
Follow us on Twitter.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Beneath the Bar. All right, boys.
Yeah,
Thanks for the
let's do
acquisition.
it.
We're happy to be here, looking to pump out some good shit.
Later.
And we're going to wrap it up today, folks, with some thoughts on how the high school athletics will continue. I know in previous weeks we talked a little bit about professional sports, maybe some what I like to call Ocho sports, but today we're going to get down to the basics and talk high school sports. I know, Curtis, you mentioned you had overheard a discussion between the Gloucester High School AD,
And the MIAA, just referencing what they've pushed out. May 4th is their projected date of being back in school, starting the schedule and whatnot. Everybody getting back on May 4th and going from there on a condensed schedule. End of June would be the end of the season per se, and they'd have a state tournament, but it would only go up to sectional finals. It wouldn't have a state championship.
Huh. Well, I mean, at first glance, I realistically don't see May 4th being I don't think that's going to happen. I think that's way too early. And I mean, if we're talking about revisiting after the fact, I just don't know what the schedule looks like. Devin, I want to get your input.
Yeah, I think that's way too soon. I mean, I'm not going to act like I'm some expert on this. I really don't know much, but I feel like the way it's going right now and the way we're still pretty much on lockdown, I mean, May 4th is soon. And if there's even one confirmed case of it, and it's the same thing for the NBA and everything too. It's they shut their entire league down because of one confirmed case. That's all they knew when they shut everything down. So if there's only one case, which is, I feel pretty likely the way this thing's been spreading, even by May, a few weeks from now, I think that's going to be too soon to get that big of a crowd together.
Yeah, and here's my, not issue with it, but yeah, I guess it's an issue. Why would they not have a state championship game? I understand.
If you're going to go through all this, then
why would you
leave
it one game? You're leaving it literally 1 to 2 games short of the entire thing for no apparent reason. We want to get it done by the end of June. My thing is, I think it's easier to set up a schedule. Say the school doesn't come back. Worst case scenario. Why can't you do sports if the world's opened back up in end of June, July, August? And I know
During the summer, right?
Drew's concern is August running into college, which is obvious.
Definitely.
But if you do it ends in early August, or you can fit it in the 2 months, why wouldn't you do that? You're literally only working around people's work schedules, so you could move to a lot of night games would probably help a ton of people out. And you can vary it for days of the week. There could be weekend games. I think it's an easy fix for the MIAA to continue with the schedule, even if there is no class or school going on.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of other factors that are going to come into it if you do start going into the summer like that. Some people nights are worse, if they have a job that's at the night. It's just a lot of different factors. It's still definitely possible, but even if you kept the time frame that they have, I'd rather see a shorter regular season and a state championship game. Why would you not have a state championship if you're going to go through the whole trouble of setting up this whole season? I mean, I feel like that's the most important thing to have.
Yeah, and I think the ability for people to choose, say, if you knew what the schedule was going to be or if there was a proposed, people could build their work schedule, work with their, bosses or whatever to still be able to play and finish your senior year of high school if you're a senior.
I'd even rather see them like, why would you go up to a sectional final and then not? I'd rather see a regular season and then take like the top 2 seeds and they play the state championship or some other format like that instead of stopping short. That doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. Just discuss drawing down the playoff bracket so you have that extra
So that you have a
space.
championship game.
Yeah, it makes no sense. I mean, that to me is just outrageous to be like, yeah, we're going to go all the way and we're going to stop it just short of a state championship.
Yeah, to jump through the hoops too, like Devin said, like to do all of the digging to make this happen and then to not allow these kids to play for a state championship, it just doesn't make sense. So yeah, I think the main argument across the board, regardless of league, sport, doesn't matter, is people keep talking about the same exact thing, like shortening the playoffs. And my point would be to exactly what you said, Devin, why not cater the regular season to ensure that everybody has an even shot at the playoffs and a state championship, because that's what you're jumping through all these hoops to do in the first place, is to allow that to happen. So yeah, it just doesn't really seem to add up.
They are talking about a condensed schedule, but with that, why not make it so you can fit it, the whole thing, and not just...
They're condensing the most important part.
Exactly.
Yeah, in a way, which is odd.
That's all we got for this week. Be tuning in and looking on our social media accounts for our newest episode, as well as the Beneath the Bar podcast that'll be coming out shortly. Thanks. Godspeed.
What's for lunch? TBBLC.
Stay in your seat.
What's for lunch today? Sausage. Brown bag.
The Brown Bag Lunch Crew.